Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to F.E.A.R 2. Let's continue. I'm estimating we have like 2 or 3 more levels before we're done with this game. We're chasing after Keegan, who is obviously enthralled by Alma, who is obviously probably just dragging him towards where she wants him. That is quite the place to just have me turn a corner and and immediately be engaged in fight. Alright, let's go ahead and throw one of these. That wasn't primed enough to work. Didn't realize the cars could explode. Well, that's something of interest. But there hardly were enough cars in this game for that to really matter. Here we have a door that is just going to be shuttered up, I guess. Here we have another unit. I guess the question is, do we want to grab a sniper rifle and lose, like, the pulse rifle weapon that we're supposed to use against Alma? See, that's the ridiculousness of this, is that, like, theoretically, we should take the sniper rifle. But we've got this laser gun, and we've got everything else, so this obviously feels like a level that would have been designed specifically so that, like, there's all kinds of assault rifle bullets. I can't swap it with the... I can't make that decision. I've got to make either the laser decision or just leave the sniper rifle completely. See, Hammerhead's probably the best one to get rid of. They desperately want you to jump between different weapons, and then they kind of give you a terrible setup for that. We're back on the street, so obviously this could have been the same street level as before. The only difference, I assume now, is that we're not going to just easily jump into a mech. Yeah, they straight up are not going to let you get through this area, I think, without the sniper rifle. It's interesting when you're zoomed in and you reload, it doesn't bring you back to the reload point either, to the zoomed in point. Yeah, and this is just going to straight up be move forward and two sniper shots needed, apparently, to kill people. So the sniper gun's not even that good. There, we got a headshot. So we do know headshots matter. I also just got an achievement for headshotting them. Man, the floatingness of the cursor is still a problem. Like, major problem there. As far as just, hey, do you have enough stability in your controls to aim your shots? And unless these guys are going to refill my sniper rifle shots fairly quickly, I feel like I'm going to run out of sniper bullets. And once again, uncertain as to whether we're fighting replicant soldiers or regular soldiers. Also, the sniper bullets are going through your armor like it's nothing. You'd almost half expect that to be electrified or on occasion electrified. There's a whole other area back here. But seemingly no real collectibles. Like, trying to hit this guy in the head is just not worth it. You might as well hit him in the shoulder and do 2 shots and then have their whole body completely explode. This totally shows how this is such a run and gun game. I almost died there. Almost ran out of health. It's like so not in line with this. What is this? The monoplex? As in there's only one theater now showing Snake Fist 4. So that they're coming back to that joke. I guess all the sniper rifle people would have been on top, so I can't even get their bullets back. So the whole thing's gonna just feel awkward, and you can't just crawl through there. They want you to come through this door. I'm about to die. I need the laser so I can potentially try and take my laser against his laser. And see, only when you are in super armor does the laser start to make sense. Because in any other scenario, it's just such a slow firing gun that you waste all the bullets way before you can actually use it. Or appropriately use it. Reflex injector now has possibly increased our reflexes to almost double for the time slowdown feature. There's also a visor button that we mapped that clearly now the Joy 2 key mapping indicates that that was unnecessary. Like, if there is a thermal visor that we get at some point, it's going to be so incredibly in the game. It just should not be a button. Maybe it's something you would map later on. And I guess we're probably going to spooky jump scares at this point. It's literally one theater. That's crazy. And here, there she is, and there's the presentation. It's weird that it's casting shadows like this, because clearly they want us to do the whole jump scare thing, but looks like we're gonna have to circle around quite a ways to get to Still Island. The bridge is out on the main road. Yeah, I think I may still be in the jump scare section. That is crazy to have one theater. That, although, who knows? That may be the way movies go these days. That you have one theater for one very, very popular Disney movie, and that's it. And it's just like, but you would almost certainly, running a theater, want to have something that you could run that was like rated R, comparing to something that would have been PG for the kids to go watch to get different demographics. Yep. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't spend that much time on the street even. It could definitely have been a case where the game had us use the streets quite often.
Repairs complete.
Alright. So they're just having us do this again. So the guy before managed to, that was in this powered armor, like walked it directly into a I assume maybe this will play a little bit differently. And maybe we have to be a little bit more careful here in this time. There's some cars, but I don't think they explode particularly well. We still don't have a time slowdown mechanic in this. There's people over there in the building. Yeah, we are taking a lot of damage, and one assumes that we can't just use a health kit to refill the health on this. What keeps firing from back here? Is there somebody in that building? Or are they just throwing grenades at me and blowing it up that way? It does seem like this is just gonna be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, as you give it time to heal itself. There's weirdness certainly with this. There's also a lot of bullets here, so like I wonder if this machine gets destroyed, do we then have to run around and take them on normally, or if that's just game over. It could very well be that since they would have wanted to use these levels for multiplayer anyways, they just place bullets and then the enemies and the bad guys can use the bullets and the grenades. See, here's the thermal vision. And I don't feel like I'm wrong there. Like, this is it is not realistic to have a unique button here, particularly when that could have been mapped to the same key on the keyboard, thus it would have been mapped on the same button on the controller with joy the key. Why is that guy still hot? I need to blow up more things. But I have no idea what that is. But it's not a person. Could just be fire. Is someone firing at me? This is where you get into the Arkham Asylum detective vision problem also. In that there's kind of nothing that you can look at here that's pretty, so you'd much prefer to be in this mode the whole time, and that doesn't really work great either. I'm having a hard time getting it to walk. Yeah, it's just a body. Interesting. So somebody's just straight up. Wow, that took a while to trigger. And see, certainly trying to feather your bullets while you're being fired upon is no good. I can see we kind of just need to sit here and wait, because we're about to die if we're not careful. So you just have to sit and wait and hope that nobody shows up while it decides to refill your shields. And I guess if you were being particularly specifically careful, you might want to jump out and use this as an opportunity to grab more bullets, but I don't think you even need to grab more bullets, really, because you're in this position where you have the maximum number of bullets anyways. Like, you will almost certainly before the end of this game run back into a scenario where you have the maximum amount of bullets, and it would be kind of a waste to overfill now just to run it across a whole bunch more guns later, which that has basically been what's happening anyways. It's a little surprising that the heat vision also doesn't trickle off after a while, considering how the time slowdown mechanism trickles off after a while. Let's see, they want me to just straight up exit. Okay. So, are we safe? I guess we are. Hold the use button to exit. Hold E to exit. Wasn't E the use button? Oh, you gotta zoom out first. Okay. And then that puts you in this position where, because we don't have any mapped buttons to anything, We can't run. So, missile launcher and armor. Let's figure out what gun do we want to get rid of besides the missile launcher. I think we hold on to the pulse weapon just to be disappointed later. I think we take this instead. Where's the assault rifle? We get some more missile launcher weapons. So it was worth it to come back here and get this stuff, because this is going to refill us with everything. Arguably, maybe this is going to put us at a big boss fight with Alma quicker than I expected. I would be slightly surprised about that, but not super surprised with anything this game does. Also, wouldn't be surprised one bit if I still managed to miss some stuff. And I don't think that there's really a lot of reason to go any further back this way. I just didn't see anything. I lost a little bit of armor there, setting myself on fire. So when we do take on Alma, we'll have several rocket launcher shots we can shoot at her to probably little avail. I wouldn't be surprised if the fight with Alma is extremely scripted. Also wouldn't be surprised if we're going to go through a small area here and end up back in another power armor suit. Or we could just be walking into a fight with a giant power armor. They like to do tit for tat for sure, where you get to walk in the power armor and then all of a sudden you are in it. Then you're fighting one.
Damn it, we still can't find a way through. There's too much rubble. We must be getting close to the epicenter of the explosion.
I guess they just didn't want it to feel like you were spending too much time in the sewers. Here we can see all sorts of ghosts, soldiers. Which, I mean, that was the thought, certainly, is that the vast majority of people would have just been raptured. And we are apparently never going to make it to the stadium, even though you could easily have that be the stadium. I guess raptured is probably the wrong term. Seems like I could shoot a lot of these guys if I wanted to. I've got cursors that are going red on them. But is there a reason to shoot them? Am I putting them out of their misery? Do I even care to put them out of their misery? And one of them definitely was labeled as Keegan. So Keegan's probably invisible right in front of us. And they're just leaning us towards an empty area. Where either the bridge is out or where this is supposed to be the dramatic reveal that the city has now almost been completely lowered to the ground in destruction, which arguably there's been way too much destruction considering we haven't seen any replicants or anything that creates this level of explosions. Can't just be a whole bunch. There's Keegan. It can't just be a whole bunch of helicopters and planes crashing. We either needed to see a lot more fire, echoing what happened with Alma when she was younger. Maybe the sky itself is just raining fire on the people. I guess that might be the case. We're just getting bombarded. At the beginning of the game, there were some interesting bits of graffiti, and then the vast majority of the city didn't have any more graffiti. That's a little weird. And yeah, this is just... Yep, here we see Keegan walk to his death, or Keegan disappear. Yep. That wasn't particularly spooky to just see him turn into ash. Although it would probably be a bit nicer to know where they want us to go. But I guess we're going in this tunnel. So this might be the only way to get to Still Island. Which I think she wants you to get to Still Island. I guess it really is just a matter of how much you think Alma is the woman with the plan or not. I cannot tell from this whether this is a horizon and this is the center of the big mushroom cloud explosion just kind of locked in time, or if this is a big explosion cloud that's just supposed to represent like dust from being bombarded constantly coming up, and then this is water being reflected. Like you've got what I assume is the sun and what I assume is some buildings over there, but that's about all I can guess. Not turning around and going further. I thought for a second we were going to just end up in the sewer again, but apparently we're just going to zigzag our way down a path, which is something we have not been doing in any other location. And they've got this design so you pretty much are going to fall, like even trying to walk on the ledge here. I had to jump to get over kind of a barrier. They want you to fall down here. And then here we've got an entire upside down toilet, which that's interesting to have a whole building upside down. It does imply that this is not some lake that existed before, that this is a giant crater that has been created. Can't open that door. So now we've got toilet water on us, which I assume is the least of Beckett's problems at the moment. Let's see. It's very, very strange to see so many ghosts and then have some of the ghosts be able to hurt you. I would, if given the production job here for this game, I would have said the ghosts never hurt you, the ghosts distract you, and then a replicant soldier attacks you, or a ghost turns into a replicant soldier and you hallucinate it. Here we got Keegan again. Can't pull the trigger on him. Find the Amacam tunnel that leads to Still Island, which I guess is this tunnel we're going down. Well, that puts us in a weird position, certainly. This level was only 28 minutes long. Yeah. I guess what we have to do here is just assume that the next level is going to be like an hour, and this is fairly inconsistent as far as the length of the levels. It's not really a lot to say there other than that was just kind of repeating itself, mirroring itself as far as the previous level where you're in a mech and you're shooting a bunch of people. A lot less people actually this time, just more armored people, where it might have been more interesting in this time if you were fighting just the crazy monsters that were jumping around and climbing the walls, because they might move a lot faster and they might be able to jump on the mech and potentially scratch it up. It's kind of redundant to have us just fighting humans in both of those sequences. It pretty much guarantees that we won't be using a mech to defeat Alma, which that would make a lot of sense. That is one thing you can say that was wrong with Bioshock 1, is that the final boss fight was done basically by a different company, and it is completely out of line with the rest of the gameplay that happens and the rest of the story that happens in Bioshock. So you can almost guarantee when we get to Alma, we're going to time slow down and shoot her with the guns we have. And that's pretty much it. She'll probably have an army of ghosts, and it will probably be very similar to the time we fought her evil spirit in the previous game. If this was a true Japanese game instead of just being a game that was inspired by The Grudge, you would have some weird mechanic for fighting the ghosts that was completely different from using bullets. You would have to either explain that Japanese people would feel the need to explain that either the bullets are soaked in like holy water or have sacred scrolls inside of them or sacred writing etched into them. Or you would have to use something like a camera, a la fatal frame, or talismans with sacred with spells written on them. Something that at least explains it a little bit better, because they've definitely left the mythos here up in the air as far as why bullets seem to dispel ghosts. Even if you had said the bullets contain enough iron in the gunpowder alone, and then it's just ghosts are affected by iron, which is a pretty typical concept from Supernatural, the TV series. Uh, and that's probably true. Or you could say there was salt in them or something like that. Again, that's something Supernatural used. But yeah, it's really hard to have anything to say when nothing really happens. Um, I really wish we had the thermal vision in previous parts of the game, but then the time slowdown effectively gives you thermal vision anyway, so why maybe they just wanted to give you the effects of time of the vision without the time slowdown feature, which arguably maybe then you should have started with thermal vision and that being assigned to the same button that is the time slowdown uh, a button, and then once you get the time slowdown powers, it turns on the thermal vision and the time slowdown. And the thermal vision, when you're outside of a mech, looks the way the time slowdown works now, where it just kind of highlights people. Anyways, it says you've entered the Armacam cargo tunnel through the breach at what appears to be the epicenter of the explosion that devastated the city. So that would have been where Alma's spirit was freed by Point Man. Your goal is to reach the Still Island facility before Alma overwhelms you. You don't seem any closer to intercepting Sergeant Keegan. If anything, he seems to be moving further away. Okay, well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.